Monday, Monday. Hey, it's Jeremy back with another classic guitar rock update. I took the whole week off last week because, believe it or not, I have a real job and I had to do some stuff for that real job. But man, I missed doing the update, so I'm glad to be back. And let me just tell you this about today's update. We will shatter some illusions in this update. A few of these stories shatter illusions. This is an illusion shattering update. Write it down. October 23rd, 2023. First up, Paul Stanley, little band called Kiss. Maybe you've heard of them. He's thrown cold water on internet rumors that Kiss could stage a residency at Las Vegas's new MSG Sphere. Now, I don't know if you saw any of it. It looked pretty cool. U2 did their residency at the Sphere in Las Vegas, and it's pretty cool. Kiss known for massive big shows and kind of a logical extension, right? That'd probably be cool if they did a show there. But Paul's saying no. Quote, I can't speak to it in any other way except to be honest with you about how I feel now. And the way I feel today is I can't really see that happening. That's what Paul Stanley told Ultimate Classic Rock. As far as I'm concerned, we're done. Let me just say this, especially when we're talking about Kiss. Never say never. Isn't this like their third or fourth last hurrah? Isn't it? I don't know. Never say never. But here's the first illusion shattering thing that I wanted to say. Maybe not illusion shattering, but it's really interesting. Kiss, of course, Paul and Gene, known for being businessmen. They're businessmen. And here's another quote from Paul. We couldn't stop Kiss if we wanted to because it belongs to the people of the world. So we can be the keepers and the curators. Kiss will always exist. So what am I reading from this? Kiss ain't going anywhere. And here's what we will see in the future of Kiss. The writing is on the wall. It's not really on the wall. He's just throwing it out there. Get ready, because this is what's coming. Okay, I'm reading from Ultimate Classic Rock here. While Stanley and Simmons have remained steadfast in their decision to retire from the road, both have suggested that Kiss could continue in some fashion without them. Okay, so I've heard them mention this before. And I'm predicting right now, write it down, October 23rd, 2023. Jeremy said this on the Classic Guitar Rock Update. Kiss will tour as a show, right? Like you go see Mannheim Steamroller or Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Every year there will be a Kiss tour that rolls into your town that features a cast of Kiss-dressed characters playing Kiss music. That's what's coming, guys. That's what's coming. And here's what he says. He's Paul Stanley talking about Kiss continuing after Gene and Paul have hung up their capes. I think anything is possible. It's certainly something that we've spoken about, but nothing more than that. He points out the precedent for bands continuing without key members. Quote, you've seen other bands do it. There are no original members of Yes, but they tour. It's Yes. It sounds like Yes and has the spirit of it because over time it evolved to where it is today. Journey, who could have imagined that band continuing without Steve Perry? But it did, and it's thrived because the band does a great job. These are great songs that deserve to still be played. As far as us, it's an obvious question to be asked, and I don't really know the answer, to be honest with you. They absolutely know what they're going to do. As soon as they're done, I'll give it a couple years, but you'll see a touring Kiss. It'll be the Kiss show that comes every year, just like Trans-Siberian Orchestra comes every year. And here's a band we've talked about. Stanley says he's a little surprised that one of Kiss's 70s contemporaries, Foreigner, is also on the farewell trail. And here's what he says. You have Foreigner out there without any original members, And their situation to me is a head scratcher, because from what I understand, Mick Jones is pulling the plug because their replacement singer isn't sure how long he can perform at the level he's doing, he says. Now, mind you, he's terrific at singing Lou's parts, talking about Lou Gramm, of course. But I mean, honestly, he's not Lou, Stanley adds. So if he's a replacement, why not have a replacement for the replacement? The legacy of those songs in that catalog deserves to live on. And I think that's the case with a lot of bands. So what do you think? What do you think about this? Paul Stanley is preparing us for this idea of Kiss continuing to tour to infinity and beyond without any original members. And he cites, yes, Foreigner. Journey still at least has one original, but his case, and I'm not choosing sides here. I mean, it makes a certain sort of sense. These are great songs that need to be heard live. Let's preserve the spectacle of the live Kiss show. Now, actually, you can make the case that it works better with a Kiss than with a Foreigner or a Yes, because Kiss is so much more about the show than those other bands. And what are shows? Shows are a cast of actors, characters. There you go. What do you think? Love to hear what you think. Email me, classicguitarrock@mail.com, or put it in the comments on X or YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're listening. Fascinating. Okay. Speaking of illusion shattering, here's another illusion shattering. Pete Townsend of The Who says The Who invented backing tapes. Speaking of Kiss been accused of using backing tracks, lip syncing, whatever. Townsend comes right out and says, we invented backing tracks. We invented backing tapes. He says, quote, the idea that I might be able to do something technological with the band had drifted into space. He's talking about the 1971 Who's Next album. He's telling this to the Daily Beast in a recent interview. But remember, what we had invented was the use of backing tapes, and they effing worked. They gave us this extra harmonic and musical implementation because we were just a 3-piece band. We didn't even have a keyboard player. So it enriched our sound, and they worked so well partly because of Keith Moon. He didn't need a click. He was the click. Now, any of you that play in a band that play with it's hard to play with a backing track, right? Because if you are using a pre-recorded piece of music and you get off tempo with, I mean, it sounds like a train wreck. And that's one of the challenges of playing to a backing track is typically the drummer has to hear a click, or it's synced with, it's a lot. In some ways, it's harder to play to a backing track than to just not use a backing track. In a lot of ways, it's tough. It's tough to do it. But Townsend comes right out and says, hey, we invented backing tracks, backing tape, whatever. Fascinating. John Bon Jovi. What do you think of Bon Jovi? Are you a Bon Jovi fan? Are you a fan of the Bon Jovi? Slippery When Wet. Your Love Is Like Bad Medicine. Living on a Prayer. What do you think? Here's one thing I like about Bon Jovi, John particularly, and that's what this is about. John Bon Jovi has been named the 2024 Music Cares Person of the Year. The Bon Jovi frontman will be honored at the 33rd annual Person of the Year benefit gala, which raises money for the music charity on the 2nd of February in Los Angeles. John, very involved and his foundation, very involved in programs that help the homeless and other things. So my hat's off to John Bon Jovi. And he's done this for a long time, like Alice Cooper, like many other people that are very much involved in charities. And by the way, not doing it for the attention, right? You've all seen the picture probably of both John Bon Jovi and Alice Cooper working in soup kitchens. No one knew they were there except someone happened to recognize them and take a picture. So they weren't doing this for the publicity. They were doing it out of a genuine concern to help people. And I think that's awesome and that should be applauded. So Great job, Mr. Bon Jovi. That is awesome. Metallica drummer Lars Ulrich has revealed the emotional experience he had watching AC/DC return to the stage after 7 long years at this month's Power Trip Festival. Of course, Metallica was part of Power Trip. AC/DC, as mentioned, their first live performance since 2016. Remember, for a while, it looked like Brian was gone. They did the one tour with Axl, which, I don't know, it's kind of cool to see, but you can't replace Brian Johnson. Ulrich said, quote, as a lifelong fan, I actually got a little misty-eyed a couple of times when Angus was kind of going out, and you could hear that when he walked out and played his solos on the ramp and stuff, it felt like people were sort of holding him up and really just loving him, appreciating him. And there was a unity. I'm actually getting misty-eyed as we're talking about it. There was a unity, and that's that unity that you and I have talked about, and that thing about when this community comes together around what we all share, that it was just such a beautiful moment. And I can relate to that. The community of classic rock, right? That's what brings us together. Whether you're watching this on X or Facebook or YouTube, one of the things I make certain is that I don't do politics. Okay. I don't do politics. There is so much pulling people together or pulling people apart right now. So much divisiveness. And most of it, doggone it, is around stupid political stuff. What do we all have in common? We have a love for great music. And so that's what the community is about. So I completely understand what Lars is talking about. Here's the only political thing I'll ever say. You take the most extreme right-wing wacko, the most extreme left-wing wacko, and then the rest of us that are somewhere in the middle, and guess what? We all want the same things. We all want the same things. We want safe communities. We want low crime. We want good education. We want jobs. We all want the same things. And yet the media and politicians try and spin it like anyone that disagrees with you is your enemy. And that, my friends, is caca. Okay? Don't fall for that crap. That's why we don't do politics. Am I saying politics isn't important? No, everyone should go out and vote. Okay, that's important. But talking about politics is stupid. Never going to do it. That's all I'm going to say about politics. I don't care how you vote, right? What binds us together is our love for great music. Glad you're here. I don't care who you vote for. Uli Jon Roth. Here's another illusion-shattering story. I promised you a couple. Uli Jon Roth has revealed that there were songs on some early Scorpions albums on which Rudy Schenker did not play. He said it was just quicker for Roth to record the parts himself. The guitarist said that tracks on the likes of 1978's Virgin Killer and 1979's Taken by Force did not feature Scorpions founder Rudolf Schenker. Now, here's the thing. Illusion shattering. That is not uncommon at all. Okay. Many of your favorite bands, some of the members didn't even play on the albums. They bring in studio guys. A little band called Warrant. Yeah, they brought in stunt guitarists to play on their albums. The Tubes with Steve Lukather, right? A lot of the famous guitar solos you think your favorite band played probably was Steve Lukather or Michael Landau coming in and playing. Kiss albums, Anton Fig played a lot of Ace's drum parts. Okay. Bob Kulick, brother of Buse Kulick, played a lot of the guitar on Kiss albums. Just saying. On Rat, Warren played almost all the guitars. Robin Crosby didn't really play much of the guitar stuff. That's the reality. So that's one of the illusions, right? Is that you see this band of 5 guys and they do everything. Nah, that's not the case. Sorry. That's just the way it is. But Uli letting us know that there were things, and nothing against Rudolph, but Rudolph is a rhythm guitarist, right? Not nowhere near the guitar player that his brother Michael Schenker was, or that Yuli was, or that Matthias Jabs is. That's just not his role. So according to Yuli played all the guitars, and I would not doubt that at all. Sails of Charon, by the way. Have you ever heard the Scorpions tune Sails of Charon? It's an awesome killer song. It's got a guitar solo right at the beginning of the song. It's awesome. Go check it out. Uli Jon Roth is he's kind of an acquired taste. He left Scorps and then kind of went out on his own. For guitar nerds, the guy is awesome. I love him, but his solo stuff just doesn't connect. A lot of the problem was he sang a lot of his solo stuff, and he's not a good singer. He would have benefited from having a good singer, but his guitar work is phenomenal. But he's given this revelation that Rudolph didn't play on a lot of the earlier versions. I still love the Scorps. Doesn't make me like Rudy any less, right? All right. So guys, that's what I got for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. You can email me, classicguitarrock@mail.com, and you can subscribe to us on X, formerly Twitter, for just $1 a month. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.